So I was a nationalist during high school. And I was so nationalist to the degree that when I just see the waving flag of Korea, I'm like, oh my God, like, oh, my patriotism comes out and become American all of a sudden. And when I listen to YouTube, people will be listening to BTS and Blackpink, and twice I'll be listening to National Anthem of Korea. It's on the top playlist. And I'm like, I'm so nationalist. And you know, for me, like I thought, like for you to be a successful nationalist, you need to be aware of the history that's going on in the society. Like that's why I started studying about South Korea, found out that my grandpa is from North Korea, and just like, you know, it's interesting. You study about history, and I got so interested, now I'm majoring this. And later I was qualified to become a Korean representative for the International History Bowl MBA competition. And as we proceeded, we met to we eventually encountered the Japanese team, and we had to fight them in round 3. And you know, Korea and Japan, we all know what happened. And it's like, and I'm like, oh, okay, yo, you know, this is a matter of national integrity. We gotta win. You know, it's like Brazil and Argentina playing football. Like, we gotta win this. But before the competition, I had a chance to discuss with my counterpart in Japan. His name was Daisuke, and we talked about like how's our GPA and how's our life in high school. We got some girl problems, and while we were discussing about it, then we eventually tackled about the history of Korea and Japan. But I heard the most unanticipated answer from him. He said that, yo bro, like I'm really sorry. And I'm like, oh wait, what are you sorry about? We just met for 30 minutes. And he's like, I think we shouldn't have done that. Like, you know, our country, like we should probably apologize for what we did. And I'm like, so mind blown. Like, oh wait, I thought all Japanese were like Abe, Shinzo. But I had this perception, and like we just keep on thinking about, and it just breaks my mindset. This breaks the prejudice, and I'm becoming more, oh wait, not all people are the same. Like maybe my approach to history was different, because in the past my history approach was focusing on the history of war and division because I was a nationalist. But when this nationalist perception was broken, I started thinking, how about I use history to connect people together? How about I use history to bridge people together that we can make a good society? Alfred Lord Tennyson, fellow of Royal Society, he said, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And I started thinking, somewhat humans are in a complicated situation. We have to encounter so many people, so many objects, so many phenomena, and this makes us unique. And when we're so unique, we all know that there's diversity going on, but we kind of fail to acknowledge that there's a common factor that ties all around us, that we're after all humans, but we keep on forgetting, and we focus on our ideology and our personal life. And I thought maybe history can be an answer to resolve this. Like, how about I use history that used to divide me to connect the people together? So let me give you my ancestral history as an example. So this is my family seal, the House of Kim and Kim. It's not big as Queen Elizabeth's United Kingdom, but it was a kingdom in Korea. And I am actually a member of this royal house. And the interesting fact about this legend is that this is King Suro. He's my progenitor. He's my first ancestor. And the legend says that the 6 eggs dropped from the sky, and he was born out of one of those eggs. And the other 5 eggs, who was his brothers, made countries called Gaya. And he made Kumgangaya, some made Taegaya, like Karakgaya. And these guys gathered together and made Gaya Confederation, which is that little yellow-green state over there. One interesting legend. But there's another interesting legend about this guy. Is that my progenitor apparently met this beautiful lady over here. She said, oh, I am Princess of Kingdom of Utah. My last name is Ho. I'm Hwangok, and I'm 16 years old. And you know, I'm destined to marry you. And King Suro was like, all right, cool, like, let's marry. And now I'm here. So, and that's the interesting part. But here's the thing, Ayutthaya doesn't sound Korean. Like, everyone's like, okay, so where is this Ayutthaya country? We're like, well, you know, there's something called Ayutthaya in Thailand. Well, are you sure about that? And people started researching about, theorizing everything. And they found out that Ayutthaya is actually a Korean way of saying Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh, India. And the interesting fact is that the great town records on the Western religion say that Ayutthaya can simply mean India. And the connection is so strong. I thought it was a theory, but when I dug more deep into it, this is the first lady of South Korea. She went to the area, because she's also my maternal clan. She went to the place and made this Queen Ha Memorial Park, celebrating the connection. And these are Koreans who are part of the clan. going to India to celebrate in a Confucius way. Hey, welcome to Korea. Like, thank you for coming to Korea. So we are here now. And the city of Kimhae, which is where my maternal house is based on, is also sister cities with Iota. So there's so many connections going on. And so technically I can say, if I see my Indian friend, oh yeah, I'm your far cousin. I have an Indian blood, technically, 2,000 years ago, but it still works. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this grand history. Let's give some small things as an example. Korean and Cantonese don't seem to be so related, but actually the pronunciation is very similar. For example, for student, in Cantonese it's hoksang, but in Korean it's hakseng. And very similar, even for English and French. English, we say student. French, étudiant, and has a similar spelling. So even from these small factors, we can see that, everyone influences each other and everyone's somewhat related. And if we trace it back, we get to this root telling that, we're all humans. And we just encounter different stuffs, different experiences, different status, and different religion that made us divided. But after all, we're still same humans. And I think this is the best part. And after experiencing a conversation with AISHK, this is the thing I've learned, that actually history can be a tool to resolve this conflict and bring people together. And I think this is the best part of history. And if I had to define history, I think history is such an undermined subject in a way. We just think it's memorizing years, like when did William the Conqueror invade England? Like no one, it's not a really important thing, to be honest, I think. Memorizing years, of course, it's good if we know, but the intrinsic value behind history is that we can know that there's a connection between us. Like even like some people, I can just choose someone and make a connection. Like for example, my friend Constance here, she's French, Catholic, and I'm also Catholic, and we can make connections as a Catholic person. Oliver, I'm sorry, I forgot. But anyway, these kind of connections can be made. Such a good thing. This is the greatest value of history, I think. History is a bridge, and through this bridge, we can be united. And through this bridge, we can also be open-minded and tolerant, and we can be trying to resolve the things that try to divide us. And as mentioned, any situation, this lesson is applicable. And I think this is the greatest thing that makes history a very valuable subject. Thank you.